is here and welcome to another video. Today we're doing another Minecraft, well, we're doing another short story, but this story is based on what happened between Mirror World and episode 659, because as of recording this, I do not know what the episode is called. Stampy did not tell me, though he did reveal the thumbnail. Yes, something happened, and it resulted in Polly looking different. But it wasn't what I expected. It's still alright, I can get used to it, but it wasn't what I expected. I don't know how other people are going to react. Do you like the new Polly? Would you rather have the old one or the one in the holiday skin pack that's sort of like Polly, but not quite Polly? Not really Polly, but it looks a lot like Polly, except it's not Polly. You know what I mean? Well, didn't ruin the character. It's just, we need a little explanation. And as you can tell, something happened. I don't know what exactly he's planning to do in the episode, but this is what happens in between the Antler incident. Before we begin, I need to let you know a few things. This is a short story that is based on what Stampy has said in the Discord, in the member chat. This would mean that it could be canon to a certain extent. It's up to Stampy to fully decide though. Probably won't see this, but if he does, I appreciate the head start. Yeah, he didn't have to do this, he just chose to do it. Which means we get a little summary, according to Mr. Stampy. As of yesterday for me, but probably not for you. Yeah, basically, he just said Fizzy did it with shears. And, yeah. Didn't go into too much detail, but that's when I come in and, yeah, it probably won't be canon. Especially if he explains later what actually happened. But if he wanted to, it could be. Anyway, we should probably get started, don't you think? It was another perfect day in the lovely world. Clear blue skies and the bliss calm that was always around here. Everything was bright and colorful. A perfect day. Standing near the Baba Barber shop was the elephant, simply minding his own business on that day. He'd already played with a few mechanics in the town, including the fireworks in the fireworks shop. Now, though, he was just waiting, partially bored, knowing it probably would be best if he stayed put. He did promise something after all, and elephants never forget, or break a promise. Vizzy munched nervously on a cookie, unsure of what he should be feeling at that moment. Excited to be helping a friend. After all, Polly wanted a trim on her antlers since they were getting too large to easily fit through the doorframe, especially when trying to get into her own house. It was important to Fizzy that he didn't mess this up, but he was Fizzy after all. What would you expect? The elephant was sure. The elephant felt like he was standing there for an eternity, desperate to do something, even though it wasn't that long before he saw Polly Reindeer rounding the corner, heading towards him. Sure enough, the elephant could see what she meant. Over the last few months, her antlers had gotten unusually big. Since her own shears had broken, she had asked him to help. Fizzy welcomed her cheerfully, spotting the nervous smile she gave, which the elephant ignored. He could do this. How hard could it be? It wasn't like he hadn't sheared off his own two tusks before. Antlers couldn't be any more different, could they? He waited patiently as the reindeer struggled to get into the barber shop, waiting until she sat down in one of the available seats as he looked through the mirror. Catching her eye, Fiddy took a deep breath and smiled reassuringly at her as he pulled out a pair of shears, perfectly sharpened and ready for the occasion. He would be careful. He had promised her that. He couldn't mess this up. Fiddy pushed his nervousness aside as Polly laid her head back on the cushion that was the head of the chair and closed her eyes as so that he could access the antlers easily without a hassle. This would be easy. It had to be. Fizzy lifted his shears and began to snip at one of the antlers, trying to focus on the task at hand. He couldn't help but hear his stomach growling, though. He was hungry. He needed cookies. No, he wanted cookies. Snip, snip, snip. Oh no. Fizzy watched in horror as he looked down at what he'd done. While being distracted by the thought of cookies, he had accidentally snipped one of the antlers off completely. All that was left was a small bit of bone. What had he done? Fizzy quickly improvised the situation by snipping off the other antler, hoping it would look better. Maybe she wouldn't notice. Maybe she might even like it. Fizzy wasn't sure as he gently tapped the reindeer's shoulder, telling her he was finished. He stared at the reflection in the mirror. Whoa. He watched as the reindeer opened her eyes and looked into the mirror. The expression on her face fell to what looked like shocked horror. The elephant wasn't sure what to say or do. It was too late to go back now. The antlers were now lying on the floor of the shop, unable to be reattached. He'd messed up big time. Oh. The reindeer and the elephant met eyes through the reflection of the mirror. The silence was long and awkward. Fizzy finally was the first to look away, ashamed at what he'd done. She'd asked for a simple trim, not for the entire thing to be chopped off. Debating whether or not he should leave, he suddenly felt a hand on his shoulder. He looked up at Polly, realizing very quickly that she wasn't mad at him. In fact, she was smiling. She motioned toward the antlers with a casual shrug, because he understood the antlers would grow back, just like his hot tusks always did. There was nothing to be ashamed of. The reindeer still saw him as her friend. Oh. Polly jumped down from the chair and skipped over to the doorway, the elephant realizing with excitement she had no problem going through the door anymore. He'd done it, exactly as promised. Well, not exactly as promised, but he still got the end goal. They both left the barber shop, leaving the chopped-off antlers behind. Polly looking as fresh and happy as always, with a new look to boot, and Fizzy just as happy, if not even more happy than before. What was done was done, and he didn't need to worry about it anymore. So, of course, he didn't, going about the rest of the day as usual. The events of what occurred long forgotten. Except, elephants never forget. So, Fizzy obviously wouldn't forget this incident either. He'd just be more careful next time, and have a full stomach before doing something like this again. If he remembered to, of course. Yeah, this is going to be a shorter video. I knew it was going to be a shorter video. Excuse me. This is a shorter video because that's how things are. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did like it, be sure to leave a like, and yeah, feel free to share it with anyone whom you might think might like this story, and who are wondering why she looks different. Of course, Stampy might explain it in the video, and if so, then there's no need for this story. It's like he's already explained what happened, but he didn't say how exactly it happened. Just the bare summary of what happened. Like, yeah, this is what happened. Oops. It didn't end well. Fizzy elephant is fizzy. Yeah. like, Fizzy would feel this way after, like, something like William. William Beaver get really upset with him after the loss of his chicken, which Fizzy, unfortunately took out. Unfortunately. So, yeah, that's a little strained, of course. Can't be mad at Fizzy forever. He is Fizzy after all. You never know what he's gonna do. Yeah. And we all make mistakes. Fizzy is no exception to that. Thank you guys so much for watching. And let me know what other questions you have about Lovely World stuff for the Bedrock stuff. Bedrock Edition. Yes, yeah. I could try to answer them in a story. Plus, of course, Stampy explains it. Then there's no need to, because then I can just point you to the answer. Like, if that's just it, like, yeah. Questions. If you have questions, feel free to ask. But if you just enjoyed this, yeah, tell me your favorite part about it. Yeah. It's always fun to do something like this because Biddy is a very interesting character. And to do his perspective, you have to think like him. You have to step into his shoes and imagine what he would feel, what he would think. Not as easy as you would think. Because you think you know what Biddy is like, but you truly don't. Because Fizzy is Fizzy. He's different to most characters that you would think of. He may be comic relief, but he's also just as important to the story. You don't know how. He just is. Man, you just accept that. Of course, a lot of people keep misunderstanding him. He's just a misunderstood character, just like his target's misunderstood. In two very different ways. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Especially my little ramble, because, yeah, that's fun. And, yeah, I'll see you in the next one, whenever that might be. Goodbye.